because it's my first video on my YouTube channel, and can't be more excited than that. And it's all about a topic which is very close and dear to my heart, which is actually I want to share with you my story of self-discovery, finding my purpose, transformation. And my intention is to make it as helpful, as informative as possible. So if you do find it helpful, hit the subscribe button and like this video. And also, if you want to have a conversation with me, just meet me in the chat. Now, you might be wondering what this video is all about. So first of all, in this video, I will be talking about things that I get really passionate about, and get passionate about kind of loving, taking care of ourselves, things that they can help us, strategies, actionable practices, day-to-day rituals, things that can help us to supercharge our well-being, elevate ourselves, make us feel more empowered, confident, right? So this is my intention. So I want to share with you all the strategies that actually brought me my dream business, my dream clients, and my dream lifestyle, and it all starts from within. So also, please, if you find this video helpful, please feel free to go and check the other videos as well, of if you want to become your best self, and just leave a comment below, right? So now without further ado, let's get into today's video. And the story, my story, actually goes back to 2013. So that was the time, September 2013, when I actually decided I'm originally from Greece, so I decided to leave my country to come here to London to pursue a master's degree on cultural relations, policy, and diplomacy. Let's get into what's the story, but I just may try to separate this video into two parts. It's just before and after, and my first life, and then kind of my second life. So I ended up being accepted at Goldsmiths University. I had set myself like this goal, this impossible goal. And I say impossible because back then I wasn't speaking the language. Like my English skills were not as, good as like 10%, let's say, right? So, but I said, that's what I'm gonna do. And I was a go-getter since then, so this never changed. When, I set a goal, I find all the important components, and I might be missing one of those components, but I will make the rest of the components to be like so great that then, the one piece that is missing, it won't be an issue, really. So, in my head, I was like, I'm an expert. I come from a very, very poor family. So I'll come to London, I'll pursue this master's degree, and then I will get into, working into politics, public relations, and internal communication. So that's what I decided to do. And I said to myself, you know what? Because I was surrounded by people who kept telling me that, if you go to London, you go to work for some of the elite PR agencies in the world. And to get there, you need to go to this uni, and then to get this internship, and then you will get accepted to this role. And that's the journey. That's a roadmap. So I said to myself then that, okay, if that's what they say, then, I'll follow this, right? And it was like I really admire those people who advise me this way. So I said to myself, this is my ticket to give me my everything. So in school, I was that kind of person, going by the book, like always hardworking, like super determined, patient, keep going, like leisure focused. Don't get me wrong, these are all great, great things, as long as you are on the right path. I was on the wrong path, guys, for like 15 years. This is the main reason why I decided to launch this kind of channel, because I could have saved myself so much time. So, yes, I graduated from that amazing university where, by the way, I had my first panic attack, which was really bad, but still I went to a therapist. He actually helped me to recover, and that was all good. But then my first job was like as a paralegal kind of consultant, so I could pay the bills. And then I started applying nonstop to, like get that kind of big internship I had in mind. So, but then again, all this never accounted for what I really wanted. I never really asked myself the right questions. I was just, on a fight or flight mode, go. And that was not healthy. I just realized now, in retrospect, as I reflect. And so I dedicated my life. I said to myself, okay, I graduated, now I need to get my best job, right? So I dedicated myself. I was so consistent. I was so committed. I became so very strategic about it that I decided to lock myself in, disconnect from all my friends. And I had a very clear vision. That's what I thought back then, that my vision was very clear of what I wanted. So it seemed like life went my way. If you didn't know me that well, you would think, oh, this girl has an amazing partner, amazing career. She's getting, working for some of the kind of, when I started working in this world, people thought that, I was on the top of my game. Anyway, so then I got my first big internship. I was at a Bell Pottinger back then, which was it was fantastic PR agency, and I learned so much. And then I moved to Vodafone, where I was working in internal communications. And then I ended up in my kind of dream job. I'm not gonna name the agency, but I was working for one of the elite PR agencies in the country, and I've never thought I would have this chance before. So I was really excited. I was like kind of go-getter, a high achiever, like going above and beyond, like to deliver like impossible milestones. And people around me thought like I was like killing it, right? So but I clearly remember the moment I came into that office for the very first day. I will never forget that feeling. It was a very, very uneasy feeling. It was like, gosh, I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like I'm in the wrong place. But I couldn't quite put my finger on what was that. Why did I feel this way? I couldn't help. So, and then gradually, right, I started feeling like really depressed and sad and stressed. And I was thinking to myself, what's going wrong with me? Why am I going through this very, very dark time? And I felt like everyone around me was succeeding. because of course when you are surrounded by top players, right, by some of the top PR strategists, consultants in the world, right, of course you will have this feeling that everyone is sitting around you. So what I actually did, I ended up getting, this huge opportunity, this dream job, but there was so much pressure to perform. And I put that pressure on myself because I wasn't feeling worthy enough. And eventually what happened was that this took a toll on me. So I got really depressed. I had constipation issues, couldn't sleep. I had to drink 3 to 4 glasses of wine every night to fall asleep. I haven't spoken to any friends since I entered that agency. And because I thought I had to lock myself in, I didn't have any social life at that time. I was very sad, to the point that I started having really, really bad panic attacks. And in the very beginning, it felt like, okay, that was once a week. It's not a big deal. I've said to myself, I've seen that before. It's just once a week. It's all right, But then I ended up having this twice, 3 times a week. But everything externally was seemingly kind of going perfect. So, and during this time, I was securing top coverage for my clients with media platforms like BBC. I was traveling the world. I was working with some like-minded people, like PR gurus I always admired. And I couldn't tell why I was in this kind of really, really dark phase. So then I was doing very well, but I kept panicking. I thought, all right, might be because I'm not good enough. Let me work harder. Let me try harder. And now during this time, I also felt like I needed to ask for help, but I didn't because I simply did not have the time. So one day I went to the office, and right there, among my colleagues, I experienced a panic attack, and I felt like my chest was ready to explode, and I had this kind of heartbeats and fast, and I felt like I faint because it was that feeling you feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. What's going on? So then I faint. And at that point, I had 2 options. Option number 1 was to resign. Option number 2 was to go, heal, and come back 6 months later. And I didn't know what to do. So I went to the therapist. And I said to him, why am I so sad? There is nothing to be sad about. And then my therapist asked a question. He said, what if you could just stop? Quit. And I haven't considered to stop. To quit anything in my life. I was so persevered, so determined. So I haven't used to make any decisions of stopping or quitting anything in my life. So I said to him, so you're telling me I have the power to make my own decisions and change them anytime I want? And he said, yeah, exactly. So he said, what if you could stop? What would you do? Um, so what if you just do that? You just stop. What might go wrong? Um, and he explained to me that I was in control of my own life. And my body for a very, very long time was telling me that I was in pain. I just didn't want to listen to it. I was having this chronic stress and anxiety. And because that was kind of helping me to be more productive, to perform better, I never like took a step back and just, reassessed things in my life, my priorities. So I knew then that I was in the wrong place. Of course, no one else knew except my partner and my family. They have seen me becoming someone I am not. So I actually decided to stop resisting. And that was the hardest thing, the hardest, toughest decision I've ever made in my life, guys. I'm not saying it's easy, it's not. And then I started kind of changing my life in a way that I decided to go and study and practice mindfulness. And I had the opportunity to travel in many different countries around the world, spend time in Buddhist monasteries where I've learned the art of meditation and how amazing it is to actually disconnect, quiet your busy monkey mind. I've never tried this before. And that was that was a game changer. And then I spent time in mindfulness centers, working with some super famous mindfulness coaches, learning about the art of mindful based stress reduction kind of frameworks, which was eye-opening. And then I started working with nonprofits on a pro bono basis. I did my yoga diplomas, my mindfulness diplomas, and I started working with nonprofits like Mind, delivering my mindfulness programs to people with chronic mental health issues. And then I've said to myself, you know what? If those tools can heal me, if those tools can help relieve from stress and anxiety those people with chronic mental health issues, what can they do to other people? Like I used to be myself, employees who work in high stressing environments. That's when I came up with the idea to do this kind of to change a life and be a well-being architect for companies back in 2020. And after I came back from retreats I ran in Thailand, later was in Jamaica, I've decided to restart my life. I became a consultant, serving employees, helping them get access to the right evidence-based well-being tools to be productive and perform well, but in a way that is sustainable. And that was like my programs were so high in demand where I couldn't have one more client in my agenda. So in 3 months time as a well-being consultant, I was fully booked. And that's when I decided to launch a company so I could serve more clients. I could help multiple companies simultaneously, all at the same time, via my live video programs just before the pandemic. And I launched my employee wellbeing consultancy, Urban Yoga Lab, the name was inspired by my retreats. And before and during the pandemic, I ended up working as a digital nomad from places like Cambodia and Peru and Vietnam. And serving all those, kind of helping all those big companies and like more than 50 global brands like Wells Fargo, Nokia, Royal Bank of Canada, some really, really big companies. And I started doing all this on my own as a solopreneur. And within 2 years' time, we had such a great success that I decided to launch my startup, a platform to digitize, productize what we offer, make them accessible on one place, everything under one roof. And that's when I launched my startup. And here I am today, not even a year since I launched my startup, not even like 3 years since I launched my employee wellbeing consultancy, where I live my life on my own terms. And that doesn't mean that I'm not getting stressed or anxious. It doesn't mean that I don't get sad or sometimes depressed. It just means that I'm aligned with my true purpose and do what I love most in this world. So, the internal environment, our mind, and the way we condition our mind matters. And some things that really help me is the way I talk to myself changed. I try really feel and internalize the positive self-talk. And I realize that after all those things, even the difficult things that made such an impact on me, to be unapologetically myself, to prioritize myself, to keep listening, to those podcasts, to keep going to those kind of workouts, to create a positive internal environment in my mind, which creates my own kind of safe space. And I found mental clarity that I've never thought would be possible before. So I just wanted to share those with you. And if you're going through a similar phase in your life, just know that there is light in the end of the tunnel, that no, you're not crazy. If your body sends you signals of discomfort and throughout a very long period of time, this is not, it's not in your mind. Our heart has its own way of processing things, and we just need to pause and listen to this heart. And our heart has so much to tell us about the decisions we need to make differently from now on. So, of course, it's easier said than done, but guess what? Try to just prioritize your health, your well-being, your mental stability above anything else, and make this your starting point. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it informative. And if you did, please go and check my other videos if you want to become a better you. And if you like this video, please click like and just leave your comment below.